This is Chief 104 Vic Pinion, U.S. Navy retired, telling some stories of my naval career. This is a continuation of first things I did after I reported aboard the Midway and discovered that we didn't have much of the basic infrastructure, management infrastructure for doing maintenance and supporting the maintenance effort for the catapult rescue on board. Well, the last one I finished with how I managed to get new blueprints and a new reader printer to read them with. Well, this one, we didn't have many tech pubs, so many different technical publications for the machinery we were responsible for. What we did have was either partial handbooks, missing pages, out of date, change notices but without the basic pub, and it was just trash pub stuff like that, stuff that we couldn't really use that much. I set about ordering all new pubs. Man, did I run into problems. B-2 Division, the catapult rescue gear, had been exempted from the Naval Aircraft Maintenance Program, the NAMP, when it was formed many years previously, and when B-6 Division was discontinued and they used its assets to create the AIMD department. Well, when they did that, they took our tech pub library with them. We no longer had an official tech pub library except that one, and they didn't support us, so they just didn't do that. So I discovered it was difficult to get pubs. I went over to the capsule office and I discovered that they didn't have all the pubs they needed either. So I set about researching and ordering, and I ordered, and with Merklis's help. Now, Merklis was a tremendous help for me in this regard. We ordered all the pubs that we needed, and we got them. Enough to stock the maintenance office and every work center, and to supply the capsule office with the ones they were missing. And we did that. Now, that took a couple, 3 months to achieve that, but we did it. It worked out well. It served us well for the rest of my tour of doing on board and the people that followed me on the ship. Well, now we had a good tech pub library, including the blueprints and reader printer. And we had a good supply set up, well-trained people. And we started establishing a central tool room and a tool control program. So I invited all the work center supervisors and the alcoholic chief to work with me on making a list of tools that we needed to stock the central tool room and basic tool kits for each work center. And we did that, and it took a while to do, and we ordered the tools. Here again, wasn't any problems with the money. Turns out we were under, like they told me, an EMRM funding system where we didn't have to justify our spending much. So I didn't worry about it. I just ordered what I needed. I didn't abuse it, but I ordered what we needed. And so now we had a good expendable parts, materials supply set up, 2 trained supply men, tool room. We set up the tool room, the central tool room, with the tool kits, special tool kits for each work center, and I started setting up a 3M center. To set up the 3M center, the preventive maintenance system, and I made out the schedules, and I invited senior people from the work center to help me with that too. Merklis was the biggest help because the ones in the work center, they were resisting. The chief was resisting also. But we made up new preventive maintenance schedules, the monthlies, the weeklies, the quarterlies, and the cyclic schedules. And we mounted them in the maintenance office and mounted the weekly ones in each work center. We also got all new maintenance requirement cards, which we had a master deck of them in the maintenance office and a deck for each work center for their machinery. I had a lot of trouble getting the work center people to comply with the 3M system. So I'll tell a quick my first sea period aboard the Midway. I worked up work list for the night maintenance to only have one cap down doing all the maintenance we could do on it that night, and the other one be up. It'd be the alert cap and all that and so forth. And staggering the preventive maintenance so that we can operate in an emergency. In any case, I took my list to the air boss, and he didn't want to see it. First, I made it up and got the work center supervisors involved, which they resisted. And I took it to the aircraft handler to coordinate deck space for the jobs we were going to be doing tonight. And I took it up to the air boss to get permission to take the machinery out of service for that maintenance, and he didn't want to talk to me. He told me to take that shit to the handler. I said, boss, I need your clearance. Certain things require the commanding officer's clearance to take them out of service for maintenance. We never did that shit before. Take that shit to the handler. The boss, I've got a copy of tonight's work list for you. Take that shit to the handler. Aye, sir. So I went back to the handler. I said, boss don't want to talk to me about it. I said, he told me to take that shit to you. He said, well, he picked up his phone. He called the boss. He blushed. He actually blushed. And I said, well, do I have permission to take the machinery out of service for the maintenance and do it? Yes, you do, he says. Okay, so I went and I started running safety tag out procedures, which the ship had not been doing in accordance with the program. And the chief engineer discovered we wanted to blow down steam on Cat 1. He called the air boss, why do you want to blow, what's wrong with Cat 1? Why do you want to blow down steam? Boss says, I don't want to blow down steam on Cat 1. Where'd you get that anyway? He said, you better talk to that new bosun of yours. So the boss called me up to primary. Why in the hell do you want to blow down steam on Cat 1? I said, boss, I tried to tell you. You told me to take that shit to the handler, and I did. And he cleared me to do it. The boss chewed me out royal like I was a boot camp seaman and dismissed me. And but after he called the chief, the alcoholic cat chief up there, and asked him, said, we don't need to do that crap. And chief said, no, boss, we don't. And that's bullshit. We do need to do that. And I showed the boss that in the maintenance requirement card. The boss read it and says, okay, chief, that'll be all. So the chief left, and the boss says, bosun, do it the way we've been doing it tonight, and we'll do it your way later. I said, roger that, boss. I'll defer it until tomorrow night, and I'll record that you ordered it. He was already red-faced. He didn't like that, and he dismissed me. And I went, okay. So we basically deferred the maintenance that night. But after that, he listened. But he still supported that cat chief, though. He did. I mean, he loved that cat chief, who had been doing what portions of the maintenance officer jobs got done before I got there. I started doing my portion, and that made the cat chief feel threatened. And he didn't like me. Well, I'll continue with this story later. I had great difficulty establishing credibility because my two predecessors had none, and they didn't do the job. So the chief is the one that had the credibility. I had to wrestle it into being to gain credibility for myself and for my office. Y'all carry on until I finish this.